He helped us out a lot. He is going to show us at least how the unit operates, so God forbid we ever need to use it, at least there'll be enough familiar people with that. It's not that you need to know CPR to operate this unit, so even if you're not CPR trained, it's simple enough that you should be able to operate the unit if need be. And we'll talk at later sessions about possibly getting some CPR training for our guys that are interested. But this is what our unit looks like during our games. The unit is up here at the pavilion should you need it, and a CPR mask is attached to this. Also at our games, when Mark Loeb is here, he has, I believe, a unit in one of his red bags. If for some reason our unit is not at this facility, Mark has one along with some other medical equipment. So Mike, we'll let you take over here.
Great. First of all, thanks for having me over this morning. Just for curiosity's sake, how many of you do have CPR training? Quite a few. Now, of those, how many of you have actually had the AED training? Okay. All right. What I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to make it really basic and really simple for you guys. A couple important things first. This is the AED. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a trainer. We have a trainer that's exactly like that today. But a couple of points you want to remember. First of all, what's really important is you got to act when somebody goes down, and you can't be afraid to act. It's a little bit scary. I know you guys are all a bunch of macho guys, you're playing softball and stuff, but when it comes to somebody going down, first thing we think about, I don't want to do something wrong. I don't want to make a mistake. Well, when somebody goes down, what I want you to do is get working. The beauty about your AED is what I want you to keep in the back of your mind. Should somebody make a mistake and just panic, grab their AED and put it on someone and actually apply it to someone, it cannot hurt them. The only time what this machine does is when somebody goes into what we call cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is when the heart stops beating and when they stop breathing. All right, it's not a heart attack. Heart attack is different. Heart attack is chest pains, a blocked artery, maybe some chest pains, something like that. Most people survive heart attacks. Cardiac arrest is when they collapse, and it's usually sudden. All right? So when somebody goes into cardiac arrest, what happens, this machine gets put on, and if they should need a shock to correct that heartbeat, this machine will give them that shock. And it will give them that shock itself. You don't have to do that. The only thing you have to do is put the machine on. The machine takes it from there. So if you should accidentally grab somebody, maybe somebody passed out, you thought they weren't breathing, but they actually were, and they were just unconscious, once you put the machine on, it will look at them and say, okay, they don't need a heartbeat, and it won't shock them. So you can't hurt someone by putting this machine on. That's the first thing I wanted to let you know. All right, now what are we looking for when we want to put this machine on? If somebody goes down, the main thing we are looking for is, hey, are you okay? Can they respond? If they can talk to you, we don't want to put the machine on. All right, want to find out what's wrong with them? Get Mark, whoever else is here, get somebody who knows what they're doing to help you out. But if they don't respond, hey, are you okay? They don't respond, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check to see if they're breathing. Now I'm going to show you very quickly how to do that. What you want to do is, first of all, with people, their tongue can fall over the back of their throat, and it can keep them from breathing. So we're going to put them in what we call the sniffing position. If they're looking straight ahead, head tilted back, like they're sniffing. So we got to get their head back. Once they get their head back, we're going to take your cheek, put it right down to the mouth and nose, and leave it there for 10 seconds. And what you're looking for is regular, rhythmic breathing. If they're breathing, good job. All right. We'll turn them on their side. Just wait for the medics to get there. If they're not breathing, that's when we're going to start CPR, or we're going to get the AED and put the AED on. All right, so breathing is what it's all about. If they're not breathing, we're putting the machine on. Now, what happens when, hopefully somebody will be doing CPR. CPR does not save lives, it just buys us some time. The important thing is the AED, and that's why you guys have one now, because this is a treatment. So somebody should start CPR. However, once they start CPR, what we want to do is the operator, whoever it is, when they come up, now again, this is a trainer, so it's a little bit different, but it's basically the same as your unit. So the first thing you want to do is you want to come up, you determine they're not breathing, you're going to open up the case, and then just turn it on. It's a one-button operation. Just so you all know, it's a one-button operation. Says on off. All you have to do is press the button. Once the button gets pressed, the machine does everything else on its own. Just listen to it and do what it tells you to do.
Remove all clothing from patient's chest.
What it tells you to do. That was turned down a bit. Let's start over again. So once the machine comes on, just listen to it. Do what it tells you to do.
Call for help
when it
now.
tells you to do it. Now, if you are a medic or if you're a firefighter or if you're very well versed in AEDs, best thing to do is put it on as quick as possible. But I'm going to say that the majority of you are not. So just listen to it. Do what it tells you to do when it tells you to do it. Ready? Listen to it.
Call for help now.
That's important.
Remove all clothing from patient's chest.
Okay, so man or woman, you want to remove all the clothing. Bare the chest completely. Now this gives you 11 seconds to take off their clothes.
Pull red handle to open bag.
Very simply, just pull the red handle. That opens the bag.
Look at pictures on pads. Peel one pad off blue plastic.
Doesn't matter which one.
Apply pad to bare skin.
I'm looking at the
Exactly as
pictures.
shown in the picture. Press pad firmly.
Put it on the chest, just like it is in
Peel
the
other
picture.
pad off blue plastic. Apply pad to bare skin. Exactly as shown in the picture.
Once you do
Press
that,
pad, do not touch patient. Evaluating heart rhythm.
now it's checking to see if the patient needs a shock.
Stand by. Preparing to shock.
Everyone clear. Stay away.
Do not touch patient. Delivering shock. Shock delivered. Provide chest compressions and rest.
Now we're going to do that CPR. And we're going to continue the CPR and leave the machine on. Once you put this machine on somebody, it stays on. The medics will take it off. I don't care if they wake up. The machine stays on. And every 15 seconds,
Continue care.
the machine will say continue care. We're going to be doing CPR. All right? So, it's basically that simple. From now on, the machine stays on. Every 2 minutes, this
Continue
machine
care.
will stop. It'll check to see if they need another shock. And if it needs another shock, it will give it. If it doesn't need a shock, it'll tell you to check the patient. So really, basically now that's it for the AED training because now we're getting into CPR training. All right? Now, a couple of items we wanted to talk about. Safety is first of all, we want to make sure everybody's clear. The machine says stay clear. These pads, now these are training pads, but once we put those on someone, the energy goes from one pad to the other. Years ago when we had the paddles, there was a bigger danger of getting an accidental shock. Now it's not as much, but you don't want to be touching the patient. First of all, you don't want to get an accidental shock. Second of all, if you should be touching the patient, you can interfere with it reading the heartbeat. So don't touch the patient. If you have a hairy chest, individuals, trust me, there's nobody here that's got a hairy enough chest that those pads won't stick to them. Okay? All right? I guarantee you that. But if you do have somebody that has a really hairy chest, when you put these pads on, what happens is it doesn't matter which one you put on first, but once you put both pads on, the machine will check the impedance. If it can't measure the impedance because the electrodes are a little loose because it's a hairy chest, it'll say loose electrodes or check electrodes. What you want to do is just push down and make sure to get a contact. If you have that 1 in a million that you can't do, that they just can't get a reading, what I want you to do is just rip it off. And when you rip it off, it's going to take most of that hair off. If they say ouch, that's a good thing. Because now they're responsive, okay? But they won't. So pull that, the fastest thing, in the top of your unit, same way with your unit, there's a spare set of electrodes. So the fastest thing is just to take these off, make sure that all that hair is off, put the new set on and plug them right into the unit. The plug on it has a certain way, it will only go one way. There's a picture of it on the plug, so it will only go one way. I think that's it, Mike. Any questions? Do you guys have any questions? The machine, this is your machine. It's very similar, but if you want to come up and take a look, you're welcome to take a look.
Thanks.
I know you guys